So Podium 5k in Cardiff, Bute Park. 4 races, I'm in the first race, then they get progressively quicker, faster club runners, elite women, elite men. So looking forward to doing my race and then watching the other races unfold. No great pressure expectation here. I had a really good race 6 days ago, done a lot of travelling around since then, so I'm really just looking forward to doing a podium race, which I've never done before, seeing what they're all about, and then, as I said, watching everybody else race. So previous visits to this park, I think we've done the park run 3 times, including our first ever park run back in 2008. And remember that 20 miler we did, out from there, out there, back, out there and back. Yeah. That was a fun day. Despite being so far from Yorkshire, it was nice to see 2 familiar faces as we entered the park. Each of the 4 races had an entry limit of around 120, and I think on the day about 80 runners ran in each race. So number 330, unfortunately that is not going to be my kilometre pace anymore. So having run 1956 at Dereham 6 days previously in the Takumi Sen 9s, this time I decided to go for the Vaporfly 3s. As I said, quite a lot of travelling around since then, so I'd be happy with anything around 20 minutes, but was ready to accept anything slightly over 2. That flashing red now?
Yes.
Yeah, those important last pre-race preparations going on there. Small field, as you can see, as I said, probably about 80 to 85 runners in my particular race. Really professional setup. Podium were linked up with Sports Shoes, and all 4 races were shown live streamed on the Sports Shoes YouTube channel.
Over to you.
And we're off, and in the early stages I think there's about 8 runners behind me, but not for long as they started streaming past 2. So you'll see me check in a minute behind to see, there we go, how many people are actually behind me at this stage. I think it was just 1 or 2. I was having visions of the Telford 10k from a couple of years ago where I was second to last in the race. So my evening has suddenly changed from let's go and have some fun taking part in a 5k race I've never done before to let's make sure we don't get completely dropped at the back of this race. So at the minute you can see me look at my watch. Yeah, I'm actually on sub 20 pace at the moment, but you can see the runners in front of me gradually getting further and further ahead. So not to worry, I'm hoping that as the race unfolds some of them will start to drop off and I can play picking people off. But at the minute I'm just settling into my own pace now. I'm not worrying about what other people are doing, just trying to keep people in sight, not getting too far dropped, and then working my way through the field as the race unfolds. Pretty good conditions on the evening. I think it's about 18 degrees. There was some breeze heading out here, but I must say I didn't really notice it. When I am racing rather than time trialing for a time, I just merely focus on what's going on around me in terms of the competition rather than what's affecting my own personal time. So having gone up the park, we then swing the first to the left. The good thing about this course is there are no tight bends. All the turns like that are pretty gentle, so you don't have to come to a stop and you can maintain your rhythm and your pace. And now we get to a section where you can really start to open up. Any breeze you have got is behind you. You've got the shelter from the hedge there. And my impression of this part of the course is that we're going downhill. Haven't mentioned yet, this is actually a 3-loop course. Each loop is around about a mile. So yeah, once you've done this bit, you know what to expect coming up in laps 2 and 3. So working through towards the 1 kilometre marker, and I believe I just managed to overtake 1 runner so far. And we hit the 1k mark at 3:59, so 1 second under 20-minute pace. I must admit my legs are feeling okay, better than I feared they might after all the driving, so hoping to squeeze under 20 minutes if I can keep it going now. It's a pretty flat course all the way around, so there's no reason I shouldn't be able to maintain this pace and hopefully not fade in that 4th kilometre, but actually push on. And something did happen to help me push on, as we'll see later. So an absolutely glorious late summer's evening in Bute Park, Cardiff. We really have been blessed the last 5 or 6 weeks with the weather in the UK. Yeah, a few training runs might have been warm, but in terms of racing and spectating and being at events, it's been absolutely splendid. So as you can hear, working very hard now and fully committed to giving everything to this 5k. So runners beginning to come back to me a little bit here, so I focus on gaining as many places as I can.
Come on, John!
Come on, John. Well done.
Here comes Bob. So yeah, great course for spectators because the runners come past 3 times. And as I said, because there are 4 races in the evening, great to do your race and then cheer and support the other runners in the other races. So this is probably the steepest part of the course, a mild, very slight incline and round the corner. And I'm now trying to work very hard to overtake this chap in black, who gives it a little bit of a surge as we come off there, just as I think I'm about to catch him. So not quite done a mile yet, and I've gone past 2 people, so by my reckoning there's probably 3 or 4 people behind me in the race this evening. It's great crowd support and great atmosphere as we come through the start-finish area. You can see the race village on the left here and crowds cheering and applauding all the way. Really great event to be part of. The finish area now, I've got 2 more laps to do before I can cross here and get my final time, which at this current moment I'm hoping will be around 20 minutes. But as you can see up in front, a good gap now to the runners in front of me, so I'm going to have to work really hard to try and catch some of them. Just going across the area where we started now, and the chip mat at the start there. So just continuing to work hard, about to pick another one off. I think this is Pontypridd Rodent Vest in the black and white squares. Just past 2k there in a time of 8:01, just 1 second off 20-minute pace. Nothing to worry about, because I think if there is any slight climb on the course for a kilometre, we've just done it. So now another 2 runners coming into sight here, so let's carry on pushing to see how close we can get to them. So back onto my favourite bit of the course here, just passing another runner, and they're starting to come into sight now. So just got to focus, picking off runners and hoping the time will be somewhere around where I want it to be. Legs still feeling okay here. Good choice of shoes, I think, the Nike Vaporfly 3s. When I race a 5k, sometimes I choose the Adidas Takumi Sen 8s or 9s, sometimes the Vaporfly 3s. Both very different types of shoes. The Adidas have a lot lower profile. The Vaporflies feel as if they're propelling me along and have got thicker foam. But actually they both produce for me very similar results, so I just like to alternate them to get that slightly different feel. So yeah, through crowd support here, past what will be the 4k marker, and another Pontypridd Rodent Vest coming back to me slightly here. So I'm sure somewhere in Bute Park at the minute there are good races going on and good people battling each other for times. For me, as you can see, it's a case of just keep working hard, trying to pick people off. I don't particularly have anybody to run with, it's just a case of trying to reel people in. My own pace I don't think is increasing that much, it's maybe just picking people off who got maybe a little bit spooked at the start and tried to chase the pack, as I thought I might have to do. So I'm glad I made the decision at the beginning to stick to 20-minute pace, because I'm now able to actually focus on people in front and work my way through the field. So just passing by the 3-kilometre point now, and as you can see I've run exactly 4 minutes. I'm still 1 second outside 20-minute pace. So I've not lost anything, not gained anything there. So we are now into the all-important 4th kilometre. This is where 5k times can be won, 5k times can be lost. As I say, for me this is possibly the toughest, not really tough, it's possibly the slightly slowest kilometre of the course. So I just need to dig in and keep trying to work hard here and focus on these 2 runners in front of me. So this is the part of the race where you're often in 2 minds. Do you fully commit now in the 4th kilometre and get the last kilometre for free, as Nick Bester often says, or do you try and save a little bit? I'm a little bit in 2 minds here. I know I'm on for, well, probably a sub 20 at this point, which I'd be happy with, but do you just want to walk away from a race thinking, yeah, that was okay, or do you want to walk away from a race thinking, I gave that everything, every little second? So I keep pushing on, keep pushing through what will be the finish area in 1 lap time. So very much deep into that section between kilometre 3 and kilometre 4, where the finish is not in sight or in mind, but the pain is very much in sight and mind. I'm trying to focus on the fella in blue here and try and claw any yards I can get closer to him. So the very eagle-eyed among you may have spotted the very familiar form of Andy Raynor, Forest of Dean runner, out supporting on the first lap. And at this point, just when you needed it most, up he ran alongside me and took this fantastic footage. Most of you who follow this channel already probably know of Andy and his marvellous Ford Runner channel. If you haven't, make sure you check it out. One of the very best running channels in YouTube. Entirely, that's the sound of me breathing, not Andy running at what is his moderate pace at the minute. So this support here is absolutely the turning point of my race. We're still not yet at the 4 kilometre point, but when Andy leaves me and I look at my watch, I'm actually running about 6-minute miling rather than the 6:25 I had been doing for the rest of the race so far. So I'm either going to run a brilliant 4k effort here and limp in for the last kilometre, or be able to maintain it. So just through the 4k mark there, and you can see the effect that that bit of encouragement has had on me. Yeah, 15:57 at this point. So remember, last Sunday I ran a 19:56. So if I could just maintain this pace with a little bit of a surge at the end, I could possibly even exceed the time I ran last Sunday, which I was over the moon with. So yeah, yet another Pontypridd Rodents Fest in front. It's very kind of the club to organise all these people for me to target. Not really, well done them. Fantastic club in the South Wales area. See them on YouTube in various races on channels we watch. So now absolutely nobody in front that I can see to chase, but we're deep into this 5th kilometre, so it's just push, 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 give it everything I've got. Try and maintain good running form instead of slumping, try and keep my head high, try and keep those legs flicking back and those arms pumping. So what words, mantras or thoughts go through your head at this point in a race? I used to tell myself pain is temporary, pride is forever, but in doing so you're actually telling yourself that this is pain. So has anybody got any psychological tips or tricks to think this isn't pain, this is absolutely wonderful, this is what you should be feeling and want to be feeling, embrace it because this is all pushing you on to that fastest possible time you can get in this race. I've actually got Dawn sat next to me as I'm doing this race commentary. She is from Wales and she said that sounded poetic. Well, we are in the land of the Eisteddfod, aren't we? So how appropriate. So here we are once again at that tiny little drag before we take the turn and the big surge onto the finish area. So as I said, nobody particularly to chase, well absolutely nobody to chase at this point in the race, so numbers start going through my head. Are we talking sub 20? Probably. Are we talking a faster time than Dereham? Possibly. Are we talking how much faster than that? Well, I don't know. I stop thinking numbers, Jordan, and just get to the finish and then worry about the numbers when you get there. So lovely going through the finish. As I say, a lot of the elites out doing the final part of their warm-up, the faster club runners who are going to be in the next race. Just a wonderful coming together of the running community for this fantastic event in Bute Park, Cardiff. So past the Walsh Athletics signs on the right. Still looking for that finish area. This chap comes past. I think it actually started late. That's how he looks so smooth.
Go on, John! Go on, sprint for the line!
Sage advice there, well received, I think you'll agree. Coming over the finish line, as we can see, and the clock just ticks over to 19:49. So that's me done, and now time to watch the faster races go off. But first, big well done to Kev. We've raced against each other for years and he's got himself back into mid-18 shape. That's where I want to be. So the second race of the evening was called the A race. It was actually the final race before the elite ladies and elite men. And Andy Raynor, who kindly supported me during my race, was going in this one. He was going for a sub 16. He's been nibbling away at there for a while. So go and check out his video if you've not done so already to see how he fared. Next up, the elite women's race, won in a time of 15:34, blistering pace there. Look at them all charge past. And then the elite men's race, 69 runners under 15 minutes here, with the first 6 being under 14 minutes. But just a little note about the winner of that race, Vinnie Magnusson. So 11 years ago he lined up against me in a 3,000 metre indoor track race at the EIS in Sheffield and beat me soundly. However, look what happened a few months later at the all-important Humber Bridge Park Run Event 3. So it's good to see he's kicked on from there and is now winning elite races, high-profile races like the Podium 5K in Cardiff. But I can think about happy days in my own running. So 24 hours later, back to the scene of last night's race. What a fantastic event. Really enjoyed the format. 4 races. The fact I had my race out of the way, could enjoy watching the faster runners.
Yes, great from a spectating point of view to have 4 quality races to watch.
So yes, and what quality. Setting off in the first race at sub 20-minute pace, I was still second to last for quite a while. Yeah, objectively, a very quick course. Flowing bends, no sharp ones. Very little elevation on the course. And with the races organised, so there's always somebody to work with. In my case, somebody to chase. So dragging people around to fast times. What's the personal best, and I guess season's best, set last night.
Rain's come again.
So it's my own performance. Obviously super chuffed on my fastest official 5k time since 2019. Also pleased with how I executed it. Now I came into it feeling quite heavy legged. I'd done 20 hardish miles on the Tuesday, then we're driven from Norfolk to Yorkshire on the Wednesday, Yorkshire down to here on the Friday, so I was just thinking I was going to enjoy this race and have a trot round. Basically it's not the sort of race just to have a trot round and enjoy the experience. You've got to go all in, so I did. At 3k I was on the borderline, sub 20, over 20, but obviously seeing Andy Raynor over in that corner there filming me gave me that little extra push to work hard in that crucial 4th kilometre, carry it on through to the 5th kilometre, and as I say, card my best time for 5 years. So coming up next race-wise, Dawn is running for England Masters at the Mid Cheshire 5k this coming Friday, so well worth subscribing to see that video coming up. And then our next serious race is a Lake Vyrnwy half marathon on the 15th of September, so lots of racing action coming up on the channel. So we're now leaving Bute Park, and that concludes our adventures down here in Wales, so check out Dawn's Barry Island Park run we did on Saturday morning, and we hope you've enjoyed this race vlog from the Podium 5k. If you have, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see our further training and racing, please subscribe to the channel. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.